Hey everybody, I cannot believe that I am going to pick up my vlogging again, but this time I'll call it podcasting. I have been putting this on hold for a very, very long time because I was going through my transformation. I was going through a lot of changes in my life. So I couldn't really talk about anything because I'm trying to figure out where I'm supposed to be in life, what I'm supposed to be doing, at what point am I going to finally say I am done with my transformation. But in actuality, we are never done growing. The moment we are done growing, we're pretty much 6 feet off the ground. 6 feet in the ground? You know what I mean. You're pushing daisies. It was 10 years ago when I actually went through my spiritual awakening. At that time, I didn't know that there is such a thing as spiritual awakening. All I know was I was going through a lot of crazy stuff. I was going through breakups, uh, changes in your employment, changes in your family dynamic, changes in your status quo. Everything was falling apart. And at that time, I was like, what the hell was going on? I had no idea what was happening to me. All I know was I was going through a lot of changes. Whether I wanted it or not, it was happening. Fast forward 10 years later, now it's going to be 10 years in July of 2026. It's June 26 right now. So we're almost there. So I thought, why wait until it turns 10 years later? There's no tomorrow. It's not guaranteed. So I'm going to freaking talk about it right now, today. Why? I thought about this and it was bothering me so much because I said, I'm trying to make it as a working actress. I want to finally get to that level that I am a working actress, full-time working actress, filmmaker, model. I wanted to tell myself that I am only going to focus on that. Therefore, me doing my vlogging and my podcasting, I felt like it was taking away from what I needed to do. But something inside me just won't settle down. I want to share with people around the world, even if it's just one person, to share my journey. Maybe it will help someone, at least one person. If I share what I went through, maybe it will give them the opportunity to make better decisions in life. And as I went through my awakening, I realized that everything that we learned from childhood, from adolescence, from young adult to mature adult, I feel that we really do not know everything. When I was younger, got married young, I was 22 years old when I got married. I met my husband then. I was only 18 went out for 4 years before we got married. But it's like you think you know a lot because you're well read or you're surrounded by people that you learn from. But in actuality, you're not that aware. And I remember now going back, it's like, was I a shitty person? Was I selfish? Was I immature, self centered, unaware, ignorant? Yes, all that in a bag of chips. How can I say that? Well, I could say that now because I was a little shit. I drove my aunt crazy. I drove my grandmother crazy. And I probably drove a lot of people crazy because at that time, I'm only going by with what I know. And When you don't know a lot, you're very immature, or you're not very experienced in life, you will go through a lot of things that you are unaware of how to handle certain situations, how to handle conversations, how to handle communication. And someone's always going to be older than you. And at that time, I listened to a lot of older people. I was raised by my grandparents, and therefore I listened to olden days of wisdom, right? Uh, wait. Oops. Now I know that no matter what age we are, some people could be 30 years old, but their mentality is 18 or 17 or 16, especially if they have had childhood trauma. When you have had, I also learned so much about inner childhood wounds, or abandonment issues, or narcissism. I learned so much along my journey, all these different terms that I could not understand before. I have been reading Tony Robbins, I have been reading so many self help books, Eckhart Tolle, since I was 20 years old. I have no idea what the hell they were talking about, but it was the seed was planted in my head. So as I got older, I became more aware of myself. I became more aware of what is my role in this world. I realized so many things that I did not know. And I hope that me sharing with you my journey in life will either inspire you to share your story, or learn a little bit from each other. I was hesitant of doing this because I am so focused and trying to do so many things, you know, that I needed to really concentrate on only one thing or only two things and not add this on the list. But it's calling me every day that I am not sharing my experience and my knowledge. It feels like a part of me is being denied. Yeah, I feel like I'm denying a part of myself when if I'm not speaking. And I have a lot to share because I have been through so many things in life, and I have encountered so many different kinds of people, so many different kinds of scenarios that I feel I want to share with you, because there are 8 billion or maybe more now people in this world, but not all of us know how to deal with certain things in life. We don't know how to deal with certain culture, or we don't know how to deal with certain age groups. I am trying to open up the dialogue and bridge the gap of communication, because there's so much we can learn from each other. There's so much we can learn from other people who have been there. And I feel like I have been through a lot in this world. I have been through many ups and downs in life. I have encountered so many different types of people that I never thought existed, because I lived a very sheltered life. Not sheltered in the way that, oh, it's just so wealthy. It's none of that. I was raised by my aunt and my grandparents and my father, and they are from the old world of thinking. So everything that I learned from being married. And at a very young age, I learned from my ex-husband's family how different cultures are. And I learned so much. And I feel that me sharing all these things would be very enlightening. I don't have a script, everything is just impromptu, because I think that to be organic, to be natural, you just have to speak from the heart, whatever is inside your heart. But I think for my next podcast, for my next video, it will be better if I have a list of things that I want to talk about. But right now, I just want to start this podcast while I'm inspired. Because when I have writer's block, I feel that I need to be doing something creative. If I'm not creating, I will be consuming, and I don't want to be consuming social media. Only to inspire myself, yes, but not to consume and scrolling all day. I can't do that. Oh. And I would urge many of you to please, if you have any creative spark, if you have anything that you want to share with the world, to start creating instead of consuming, because our brain, when it's inspired, when it's being creative, it's actually going to be good for your mental health than doing nothing but watching shorts and watching shows and doing nothing about it. But I'm to each his own. Do what the hell you want to do. But what I'm saying is, if you have an ounce of creativity in you, don't let it sit dormant. Don't let it sleep. Don't let it die. Do something with it. Even if it's just podcasting like this, even if there's only one person that's going to watch this, it's going to make a difference in somebody's life, especially all the stuff that I'm going to talk about, all the fun things that I have had experience in life, all the crazy things that I have done, and the crazy people that I have encountered in this lifetime. I think it's going to be really fun to delve into. I think it's going to be really fun to sit down here and pretend this is like our campsite, and that we could just sit down and talk to each other and talk about all the things that we've gone through in life. I think that's kind of fun. I think that's different. I think um, it's nice to share these things with each other, even if I'm just speaking with you using my camera. I think this is a creative process that I needed to do. So forgive me for not being very focused on only on one thing, but I wanted to do this podcast starting today before the 10th year is here, because the last 10 years of my life was my spiritual awakening. And I'm going to share with all of you so many things that you're going to go through when it's your turn to have that awakening. And it's really important to go through this and what to expect. So you know you're not crazy. So you know that you are transforming into a different version of yourself. Um, we need to know, we need to share that with each other, so you know that you're okay, that you're normal, there's nothing wrong with you. You are just going through metamorphosis, just like a caterpillar goes inside that cocoon, the chrysalis, before it becomes a butterfly.